3-7. So if you haven't found it yet, we're going to talk about the absolute value inequalities today. All right. So the top of the back, I copied for you just to show you that now we're going to use these absolute value like n minus 1 is less than 2. And we're going to solve it and graph it. And then they're going to be able to, depending on how it looks, right? In the end, your graph is either going to connect or it's going to end up pointing outward. So now you have to have an and or an or you have to put it back together, okay? Which I'm going to show you how to do that in a second, all right? So your best bet on doing this, right, is to solve it, graph it, then write your final answer, okay? So let me show you. The best way for me to do this is to show you here. Okay, so problem 4 says, oh, that's really hard to see. You guys can see that here, yeah? Pretty okay? All right, I think once it zooms, will be okay. All right, so you've got 8n, the absolute value of 8n is greater than or equal to 24. So what we've got is all inside of our absolute value symbols. So that means we're going to split it right away to solve it. So we're going to put 8n is greater than or equal to 24. We're going to solve that in a second. And what we're going to do on these absolute value is when we do the negative one, we're going to flip the inequality. So we're also going to solve 8n is less than or equal to negative 24. Okay? So this is super important. When we split this, we want to switch or flip the inequality for our negative solution. Okay? That's super important, otherwise you're going to get some incorrect answers. So, if we do this now, we're going to go ahead, we're going to solve each side, then we're going to graph it, and that will help us determine whether or not we've got an and or an or, and how to write our answer, okay? So on this side, right, we're going to divide both sides by positive 8, and we're going to end up getting n is greater than or equal to 3. Okay, I'm going to do the same exact thing to solve this side, divide by 8 on both sides, and I'm going to end up getting n is less than or equal to negative 3. Why did I not have to flip the inequality again? It did not divide by negative. Okay, so now what I want to do is I want to graph it. Okay, so on this case, I'm going to put in 0, 1, 2, 3. Here's positive 3. 1, 2, 3. Here's negative 3. And I'm going to do each one separately. So n is greater than or equal to 3. I'm going to do first. Is that open or closed? Closed. And which direction should that arrow point? This way, right? Okay, this one says n is less than or equal to negative 3, right? Okay, so, all right, closed, yeah. What direction does that one go? Left. So when I write, so this is my graph. When I write my final answer now, okay, do I put these back together? No. What do I need in my final answer? It's a specific word. Or, correct. Now, I would encourage you to write them with your smallest one first. N is less than or equal to negative 3. Or n is greater than or equal to 3. Because it will help you in the end to like match your graph to what your answer is. And that's the basics of how we do it. Okay? Now, what we're going to do, instead of doing problem 5, is we are going to go to our 3-7 practice, and I am going to help you with some of the problems on that. I gotta locate mine. Okay, there's mine. Now, you're probably going to want a separate sheet of paper because solving these and graphing them is a big amount of space that you're going to want to use. I just want you to attach your paper to it so that I can see it, all right? So let's start out. We're going to start with number 16, which is relatively easy, but I want you to make sure that we know what's going on, all right? Yep, starting with number 16. So last night, remember, was 1 through 15, so we're going to start with number 16 today. And I'm not going to do all of them, but I am going to make sure you have enough so that you're like, okay, I think I know how to do this, right? So this side is the easier section, but we're going to start with that. So number 16 says the absolute value of x is greater than 1, right? Okay, so when I solve the inequality here, do I split this up right away? Yes, I do. So this one, there's nothing really to solve, is there? But the answer here is I can take this off. The absolute, or x is greater than 1. Now for the negative one, what do I have to do with the inequality? Flip it. X is less than negative 1. Okay, so this is really my work in this case. Now I want to graph it to know for my final answer, do I have an and or do I have an or? And like if it's an and, what I really want to do is put it back together in one inequality, in a compound inequality. All right, here we go. So negative 1, 0, 1. Open or close circles? Open. All right, so let's start with x is greater than 1. So what direction does that go? To the right. X is less than negative 1. Do I have an and or an or? Okay, so my final answer is this. If I do my answer, sorry, I will move that over. If I do my answer, I literally just write x is less than negative 1 or x is greater than 1. Those are pretty easy. Okay, let's get to one that's a little bit more complicated. All right, let's move on down to, let's say, number 22. Okay, so 22, let's do that one next. 22 says the absolute value of 3c minus 4 is greater than 12. Should I split this one right away or not? Yes, okay. So my two that I need to work with are 3c minus 4 is greater than 12. What's my other one? It's less than negative 12. Now, my steps are the same. First thing I do is add 4, right? So now on this one, I get 3c is greater than 16. On this one, if I add 4 to both sides, I get 3c is less than what? Negative 8, yep. Now, can you all tell that you're going to get a decimal already? All right, because does 16 or 8 divide 3? They don't. It's okay to get decimals, all right? So we're going to divide by 3 here. And I'm going to divide by 3 here. Okay, so I get c is greater than, what do you get when you do 16 divided by 3? 5 point what? That's right. Or if you want to keep it a fraction, it's 5 and 1/3. 0.3 repeating is 1/3. What's 0.6 repeating? 2/3. Okay, so that's something you should memorize if you can. All right, this one, c is less than, what do you get when you divide negative 8 divided by 3? 2.6 repeating. So what would that be as a fraction? Negative 2 and 2/3. All right, I'm leaving it as fractions. You could do it as a decimal. That's okay too. All right, but I'm leaving it as fractions here just to show you. Let's graph it. Now, if you graph it, right, let's say that you just want to use whole numbers or integers, right? So I'm going to do negative 3, negative 2, negative 1. Here's 0. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right. Now, I didn't mark every number. However, I made sure that I made a mark for each whole number. So where would 5 and 1/3 be? Exactly the middle or closer to 5 than 6? Okay, open or close circle? Open. So you just are estimating. Here's my open circle. What direction does that arrow point? To the right. All right, I have another open circle at negative 2 and 2/3. So is it closer to negative 2 or negative 3? Negative 3. All right. And what direction should that arrow point? To the left. That's right. So is this an and or an or? This one's an or. So literally, I could just put the word or in the middle of these two and circle it. Now, if you want to be consistent, what did I tell you should probably do? Switch those two, because this is the lower limit, isn't it? Okay, but technically this is correct. How are we feeling so far? Okay, let's ramp it up a little bit. Go to the other side. All right, don't get nervous. I'm going to help you. All right, these are all a little bit more challenging. Okay, now the ones that I really want to focus on here, yeah, just kind of showing you what's going to happen. So I would like to start with, let's say, number 28. Okay, so 28, I'm going to rewrite it on here. 28 says 7, and then you have times the absolute value of 3y minus 4 minus 8 on the outside is less than or equal to 48. Okay, a lot going on here, right? So, do I write two separate things right away? No. All right, so this one requires a little work first. Excuse me. What do I undo? I start by undoing the 8. Okay? It's just like solving an equation. Just a second. Sidebar, don't write this down. But if you were to do 7x minus 8 is less than or equal to 48, which one would you undo first? The 8, okay? The same rules apply here, all right? So imagine that, okay? You're undoing PEMDAS, so the first thing, if you're undoing it, you want to undo is add or subtract. So we're going to add 8 and add 8. So now we have 7 times 3y minus 4 absolute value is less than or equal to 56. Now what do I do? Divide that 7 out of there. All right, so now I have the absolute value of 3y minus 4 is less than or equal to, what is 56 divided by 7? 8. Now what do I do? Now I split it, okay? Because everything that's left is inside absolute value, now I split it up. And so, sorry, I'm running out of space. So I'm going to split it over here. I'm going to do 3y minus 4 is less than or equal to 8. And I'm going to do 3y minus 4 is negative 8. Oh, you guys are so smarticles. All right, here we go. What do I do now? Plus 4 on both of them. Okay, so this one is 3y is less than or equal to 12. And this one, if I add 4, 3y is what? Greater than or equal to negative 4. And then I divide by 3, and I get y is less than or equal to 4, right? What do I get over here? a decimal. Can I leave it? Y is greater than or equal to -4/3. You can. Because I might want to graph it, right? Let's do the decimal. What is that going to be? -1 point what? 4/3. 3 repeating. Yep. All right. So if I graph this guy, whoop, I'm going to put in -2, right? -1, 0, 1, and I labeled all of them this time. I don't know. I guess I wanted to go label-y. Here we go. So I have open or closed circle around 4. Closed. What direction does the arrow point? Left. Okay, so I'm not gonna make the arrow completely yet until I do the other one. Open or close around -1.3 repeating. Close, so I'm estimating that. Here it is. What direction does the arrow point? Oh, all right. Now this one's going right, so they are going to connect, aren't they? So now here is the important part. This is why I want you to get in the habit of rewriting them, okay? What I need to put this back together because it's an and. All right, what's my lower limit? -1.3. My upper limit is 4. Y is in the middle. Now this is how I do it. On the -1.31, what's the alligator eating? Eating the Y. So you want to make sure it's eating the Y for that. What's the alligator eating on my 4 one? The 4, make sure the alligator's eating. This is your answer. Graph answer. That was our first and one, wasn't it? Okay. All right, for sake of the video, I'm going to stop the video right here. If you still need assistance, make sure you come in and see me or email me.